everyone, and welcome to the day 9 of Digital Marketing series. This session is about email marketing. In this session, you will learn what is email marketing, how to compose a great intuitive email, and lot more. So, without further wait, let's start the session.
Before we start the session, kindly subscribe and hit the bell icon for more updates.
What is email marketing? When emails are used as a medium to deliver a message with advertisement or marketing content, it's called email marketing. This is done with the essential target to generate revenue. So the underlying statement is to generate revenue from that is the essential target of email marketing.
Here are some, I think they've given a Flipkart promotional emails. And I'm sure this is something you guys must have seen. A lot of mails from Flipkart and Amazon, anything related to promotions, it by default goes to your promotions, right? To your promotions tab in Gmail. So multiple reasons there. One is like generally most of these emails have keywords, generic keywords like savings and all, and offer is free and all that stuff, right? Because of which Google by default will tag it under promotions. This is again an Amazon mail, like Coupon Dunia mail, right, with bunch of offers. There's again a typical blog, right? And they're just sending you some basic details and they expect you to click and read more about it. Now, what is the transaction mail? Transaction mail is nothing but that sends you uh, any specific solution, right? So something like a OTP, something like a verification mail. Those are transaction mails, right? Now, transaction mails always lands in your inbox because the pipe is different. So when I say pipe, just for SMS and email, you have two different pipes. You have a different pipe for transaction. You have a different pipe for promotional. Now you must be thinking like, what if I sent a promotional email through my transaction email, right? One, you cannot do that. I mean, when I say you cannot do that, as in it's not legit. So the moment you start that, and you will get caught in a day or two, and the entire your IP will get blacklisted. One of the reasons again why email marketing is the most preferred channel out there because you can literally personalize anything, right? Which is not that easily possible in any other channels. When I say any other channels, I mean Facebook, Google, or affiliates, right? Now, personalization here is not just personalization based on the product, which again can be done through Facebook and Google based on the cookie. But here the personalization is more with respect to the messaging, right? So you can put in the name, your complete name, if you have the date of birth, even that can be added. So we can really personalize it to the core, right? So here is an example, right? So it says in Google Ads, again, when you search for sell your car, all you see is a generic ad, right? I mean, this is again not at all personalized. All it says is, about the features of it, like how can you sell it quickly and what are the features of their company, right? Similarly, if you look at a Facebook ad, it's not completely personalized. I mean, it doesn't show your name or something anywhere, right? It just again speaks about the USP of the product, right? Similarly for Instagram, right? I mean, you might probably get a feedback or a review on that product, but again, it's not completely personalized, right? Now, the beauty of email is you can totally personalize, right? So here it says, right, dear Janice, and this is again seems like a exit cart abandonment mail because probably they might have added something to the cart and they might have disappeared, and there the mail came to the user, right? So here, like I said, the name is included, the coupon is included, and the beauty is even within the coupon code, the name comes, right? This is also personalized, and they have also handpicked a bunch of product based on the behavior of the user, right? That would have happened on the website. Now, the good part is here the chances of conversion is very high because everything is personalized for that user, right? Here is again another example of Dropbox. So, like I said earlier, right? You can personalize it with the name, and this looks like a generic mail, right? Just like how anyone messages each other, right? So you would definitely go through it. I mean, the chances of you missing it is very low, right? You might at least put in a glance through it, and you will try to capture some data through it, right? While going through it. There is another one, right? Like completely personalized with the birthday details and all, right? So this again, I'm sure you must have seen in India also, right? A lot of banks you would have observed on your birthday, you get a mail from them, right? I mean, just wishing you happy birthday, right? And with e-commerce, some of them they do that. They give an offer also in India. I think Myntra used to do that earlier. Not sure about now, but earlier they used to give an offer. Swiggy does that, by the way. They'll give you an offer if it's your birthday. Now this also depends whether you have entered your date of birth or not, right, within that platform. The other thing about email marketing is, unlike a display or a search ad or Facebook ad, chances are that you don't miss that, because the moment a mail hits your inbox, you get a notification, right? So even if you're on mobile, you get it. And the good part is, as more and more smartphone penetration grows, the more and more people are going to. I mean, it will be easier for you guys to access them, like target them through email marketing, right? And some interesting data points here. The third most frequently performed task on a smartphone is, again, checking emails. It says. The other thing is, people generally have this habit of going through the checking their emails, right? So let's say even if you leave your phone for maybe 5 hours, it doesn't matter whether you're an employee or not, right? The moment you pick up the phone, one of the top notifications that you see is always the mails, right? Now, depending on the subject line, you might open it or you may not open it, right? Which again we are going to speak about as we proceed. Yeah, this is again another reason why you should stick with email marketing, because emails are relatively cheap if you compare it to a Facebook or Google, right? Now, here I think the pricing is also on the higher side. So typically, a good email, like a good vendor, if you're doing it in bulk, you can get the pricing at as low as 3 paisa per email, right? And again, there are a bunch of ESPs available. So when I say ESP, I mean email service providers, right? So to name few of them, the top ones are Mailchimp. Then you have Netcore. You have in India. There is SendGrid, and then there is Amazon. Amazon does emails, although that's purely on the transactional front. But yeah, even Amazon provides emails solutions. There's again a high level comparison in with respect to CAC, that typically Google versus social media and email. Now, guys, this is actually true, but the catch with email is, like I said, you got to have that user's data with you, right? Only then it makes sense. Otherwise, if you're start launching a new product, you don't have a subscription list, so it doesn't make any sense for you to take this path. Now, again, I think we can skip this. The other thing about email is you can automate a lot of stuff on email. So I'm sure you must have observed it, right? So when you go to an e-commerce, and when you purchase, let's say you just add to cart and you just move out, you don't purchase. So a lot of big players, they will drop you a mail after few hours, right? And if you don't engage, then after few hours again you get a mail. So these mails are generally automated. So in marketing terms, we call them as drip campaigns. So basically you set up a drip. So it's technically an if else condition. So if a user comes, if he's not performing this X action, then send him this email. If he's performing Y action, send him this, right? So that's the beauty of email. Once you have good amount of database, which again come in the form of sales, or can come in the form of subscribers, you can always set automated emails, right? So newsletter is another example of automation, right? You must have observed, you subscribe to some newsletter and you get an automated mail a month or a week or something. Right? Now this is again the drip campaign, like I spoke earlier. So first email sent. If it's opened, if they respond, then the second mail goes with details on how to move ahead, right? If they don't respond, then send them a follow up mail after a few hours, right? So you can create multiple such trees, and there are a bunch of tools available for this, for setting automated mails. We'll speak about it as we proceed. The different scenarios in which you can automate email follow-up, right? So one is like the example that I gave, that user hasn't purchased from the website for a certain amount of time, and you set a drip in such a way that after 24 hours an email goes to the customer, right? And then you can also create that urgency. So if a user has added something to the cart, you can always send a mail in such a way that saying, here is an exclusive offer for you that expires in 24 hours, right? So that you create an urgency over there, right? And the third is you can always do it on the behavior. So basically, you would have seen that if the user has come and browsed through denims, you can probably send in the top 3 denim options to the user and see whether they're clicking on that or not, right? And of course, you can always send a coupon code to kind of push that user. So these are the top automation tools out there: Mailchimp, Netcore, Octane, SendGrid. Mailchimp is again a global player. Netcore is and again an Indian player. Octane is also, although they are big in India, but I think now they are also going global. So it's another example, right? So let's say if you're handling email marketing for your brand and you have sent out just 1 lakh email to prospective clients, the sales team will come and say that they received only 20 customers through the email blast, right? And they're happy with the result. So they ask you to shoot more mail. Now, is that the right way to do it directly? I would say the answer is no, because you got to analyze the data, right? You got to see how many people open the mail, what's the open rate, what's the click through rate, right? And then you also have to look the unsubscription rate, that is how many people unsubscribe to any email, right? So, like I said, analyze the results, right? Like any other marketing campaign, it's important to analyze. Like you got to look at, you can again optimize the campaign at multiple ways, right? If your open rate is low, that means probably your email subject line was not really catchy, right? That's the reason you didn't open it only. Now, if your click through rate is low, that means you opened it and you didn't click in that, right? So, by the way, guys, in email, open rate is whenever you open an email. So, let's say you send email to 10 people, only one guy open it, then your open rate is 10%, right? And if you, let's say, if you send the email to, let's say, again 10 people and that's only one guy clicked on it, right? So again your CTR is 10%. So I hope you guys understood how we use the terminologies open rate and click through rate. Yeah. The same thing that we discussed. Email opens is basically you can track the number of emails that has been opened in your email campaign. Now, the other thing about email marketing is people always prefer a personalized mail, right? So it's very simple. Between both, which would you click, right? This, the moment you open up, it's very clear this is a promotional email that anybody can make it out. But this doesn't look like that because this is a bit personalized, right? I mean, you will definitely go through it because this is like any other email that comes to you, right? Any other personalized email that comes to you. So as a user between both, I'm sure a lot of you guys would agree that you will end up reading this one rather than this one, right? Because for the first one, you already took a call mentally that this is an ad, right? Right? This one looks more personalized from a content standpoint. So there's a HTML email that we just spoke about earlier. An HTML email is like this is like the creative. So the way it works is you need to first get the creative done with the help of a designer, and then you need to get an HTML developer who will write the code in the backend, right? And these are like basic black and white text mails. This is something you can do it pretty much yourself. All you got to do is like write content and insert link, just like how you do it in a normal email. HTML emails, again, this is used a lot for what do you call, for the promotional stuff. Because let's say if you are an e-commerce site, let's say you are selling t-shirts, a simple email with text won't work, right? Because he needs to visually see what it is, right? So that's where the HTML creatives comes in, wherein you can put in the actual images out there, right? Now this is again the example of personalization. It just speaks about Mother's Day, and it's again quite a generic email, right? And this is another email from uh, Cash Karo. Now, the good part about this mail is the subject line. The subject line is very catchy. It says only for you 100% cash back, right? So now, as a layman, you might try to open this and read it once, right?
Just a quick info, guys. If you want to make a career in digital marketing, then Intellipaat provides a advanced certification in digital marketing and analytics. It is taught by IIT professors and industry experts with more than 10 years of experience. This course is designed to upskill and land your dream job. Now let's continue with the session.
Because there is that personal angle in the content, right? Now this is again a big turn off, so as you could see the content is too much. Now you might read couple of lines. If you feel like this is not really relevant, then you might just drop it off as it is, right? This is again a traditional sales mail. The problems with email marketing. This is, I'm sure, like a lot of people must have observed, a lot of you guys must have observed, right? Majority of the times you see emails which says sales at the rate or do not reply. So you often get, you often ignore that because you know that this is again not anyone individually sending it to you, right? It's either coming in through a company or something, right? So although in promotions you can't really avoid it, but up to certain extent you can make it look a bit more creative, right? So instead of using do not reply, you can use the person's name and you can send it so that there is more personalization over there, right? Now, guys, this is again very very important thing from whenever if you guys intend to do HTML creatives. you need to ensure that it is optimized for mobile. And although this is a solved problem today, most of the developers know about it. But I think we should also ensure from our side that it is mobile friendly. The creatives, the HTML is mobile friendly. Basically, when I say mobile friendly, what I mean by that is when if somebody is opening in mobile, it should get auto adjusted. So you see the difference between both, right? This is too small to read. I might just skip it. But this one is like large enough, and I might just consume the content. Again, one of the most crucial thing to improve your open rate is two things matter from with respect to open rate. One is your subject line. Second is the initial content in the body, right? So whatever you can read it upfront without opening it, right? So if this content is creative, then chances are high that you might open it. So by the way, this mail is a transaction mail, because it says your like your September box has been shipped. Now this is providing an information, right? So any mails that you get from Amazon, Flipkart with respect to your tracking or with respect to sending a mail which says, that item has been delivered, these are all transactional mails because it's providing an information, right? You go to any org out there, everyone will have a transactional pipe. Now that transaction mails are automated, a marketer doesn't play any role there. All you do is just create the content and you just create that condition and leave it. You don't manually send any transactional mails, right? Everything is automated. So for e-commerce, multiple transactional mails goes for one file creating an account. Second is when a transaction happens. Then during the entire shipment tracking, mails are sent, right? Once the product is delivered, mail is sent. Then there is a review. They will ask for a review. So all this is like one complete process in transaction mail. So yeah, the other thing is with respect to subject lines, like I said earlier, right, a short subject line immediately allows the user to grab the attention. So again, don't try to keep it too lengthy because nobody has the time or the bandwidth to read, right? So in this, you pretty much even know what it's about to say, right? So if you have the bandwidth, you might open it or you might just leave it. Wherein this one, it's very clear, right? It says we want to hear from you. It's very clear that this is more like a survey. So chances are high that you might open it because you know exactly what it is about. This is the pre-header text. Like I said, the initial content that is visible. So just ensure that it is a bit catchy and it generates curiosity. So you see this one, right? It clearly says, does this email look wonky? Go here, and there's a dot, dot, dot. So this again, it's not really giving you much context about what it is. But if you start it by generating curiosity, then by default your open rates will be very high. So these are again the basic sanity checks, things to remember that your mail should be displayed correctly on the mobile device. It should have a good subject line and the pre-header text, it should provide context and generate curiosity. And if you put in, if it gives your complete name, then it's completely personalized, right? So the chances of you opening the mails is very high. So here it says, you randomly received an email from a resort in Goa that may tells you about the amenities and stuff like that. And if you decide to use the service in the next 30 days, right? Situation one is you don't have any intention to go to Goa in the next 90 days, nor were you thinking about it. In this case, the above mail is spam. You haven't asked for the mail, nor is it relevant to you. Now, in this situation, it won't by default become a spam. It will only become a spam if you mark it as a spam, right? But when it's coming, I'll probably read both and then I'll explain. So yeah, the tips to avoid promotions folder is, like I said earlier, right? Always try to avoid these keywords like discount, free, off, buy, exclamatory mark, anything which says offers or discounts, it's going to go by default to your promotions tab. And that's the reason today you look at all the top brands, you'll find majority of their emails in promotions because they cannot just avoid these keywords, right? Because they often have some of the other offers running, right? The other thing is the mail content in the body. Also, just ensure that you don't repeat a lot of these keywords. Otherwise, it by default will be tagged under the promotions folder. HTML, majority of the time, the moment you bring in an HTML creative, the chances are high that it will directly go to your promotions. If it has again multiple images and multiple links, then again it goes by default to your promotions folder rather than your, because multiple links only comes for a promotions offer, right? No personal message will come with multiple links, right? So this is a very good example, right? Although I won't prefer this mail because this is way too lengthy, but for to register a webinar, it's clearly, I mean, first it spoke about, although the content is way too much in between, but the copy is great, right? It's personalized. It says, "Hi Rajat, the webinar was awesome, but we were missing one thing, you," right? Now, after that, then they have put in a quote and then a basic content about, what are you going to learn, right? And then there's just one link in this, which is register for webinar, right? So such mails have very good click-through rate because people go through the content and generally if there is a good value add, people might go ahead. So here the value add is this, right? It says, I once heard someone say that if you were to get just one single new idea or tactic out of a book, it would instantly be worth $10 to $20 you would spend on it. In other words, you have a positive ROI. Imagine if you just get one tactic out of this webinar, right? So this is like a probably targeted towards a marketer, and it says that he's going to probably share a few tricks, right? And he's asking to register. See, guys, out of everything, the most important is your IP reputation. If your IP has a good reputation, after once you build it over a certain period of time, it won't go down that fast. So if today a Swiggy uses a keyword like jackpot, or you won a jackpot of offers or something, it will never go to spam because the IP reputation is built. But if they would have done that on day one or day two, it would have definitely gone to spam, right? This is also another very important point. A lot of free email marketing tools that you guys use, it has shared IPs. So basically the way it works is there will be one IP through which both our emails will be sent. So let's say I'm spending a spammy email and let's say you are sending a good generic genuine email. But if my email gets reported as spam, then by default even your email will take a hit. Doesn't matter how good it is because the IP reputation is bad now, right? So it's always good to ensure that you have dedicated IPs. So this is again very important. So people who are not used to email marketing, and let's say if you guys are working with any email marketing, any ESPs out there, just ensure you tell them that, just ask them whether you are having a dedicated IP or you're having a shared IP. Because a lot of companies, to save money, generally they use shared IPs. Like very few companies use dedicated IPs for each player out there. And of course it also comes at a cost. So let's say if you're doing a volume of only like 1,000 emails a month, very few players will give a dedicated IP. Even if they give you, they will charge you a bomb for that. But always ensure with your ESP that you have a dedicated IP, and just keep telling them in between to share the IP reputation score, whether it's good, it's bad, or it's neutral. So how to check if your mail domain name is blacklisted or not, right? MX Toolbox is one of the tool wherein you can put the domain name and check whether it's blacklisted or not. So this again happens, when you keep sending a lot of spammy mails, and if a lot of people mark you spam, then it gets blacklisted, like I said earlier. So what happens if you get blacklisted, right? So then the only option is to choose a different domain and also choose a different IP address. Because what happens is, if a domain gets penalized or if it gets blacklisted, it's very easy to get it out of it. No matter what you try, majority of the time the email will again go to spam. So the best thing is to start, get a new domain and start it again from scratch with the basics, and ensure that you don't repeat the same mistake that you did earlier. This is again the basic sanity. Ensure that your content is within 100 words, your body is within 100 words. Don't write too lengthy content because people generally don't interact, and people don't like lengthy content. Nobody loves to read lengthy content, right? And second is, ensure that your subject lines are very catchy. It generates a lot of curiosity. Only then, the open rate will be good. I think out of all of this, the most important is curiosity. Always try to ensure a curiosity. I mean, remember the iPhone example, right? You could have simply put in all the details over there, like this is the iPhone, this is the price, this is the feature, right? People might read it, but it won't give them a reason to click. But if you just put in a content, hey, iPhone just launch these amazing features that everybody was waiting for, right? Chances are high that some of them might just click and just read the content. Now again, moving on to the campaign, right? So this is I think they have shown for Mailchimp. So see, if you guys intend to do it, if you, let's say if you have a list, let's say you've already created a list, uh, which is again of opt-in users, okay, not the purchased ones. Ensure that you import the entire list into Mailchimp and create a very unique email ID, the from email ID, right? So here they have created Harry Potter, right? And the name also they've kept it as Harry Potter. So don't put in like a no reply or hi or hello or something. Always try to put in some name and try to put in a very catchy name as well, right? And it's my personal suggestion that do not send it to the entire database up together, because you never know how the users will react, right? Because let me again explain with an example. Let's say if you're running a blog on, let's say, on dogs, okay. Now let's say you guys captured 100 email IDs probably of pet owners, right? Or probably let's say you captured 5,000 email IDs, right? But you never did anything. But today you sign up on Mailchimp. My suggestion is don't send the email on the entire 5,000 users. Send it on 100. See observe it, right? See whether what is the open rate, what is the click rate. Send it on another 100. Now take this 100 from different batches. So I'm sure you didn't capture the whole 5,000 email IDs in one day, right? It would have happened over 6 months or 1 year or something. So if it happens over 6 months, then people who came in the first week of the month, they might even forgot about you, right? So today, if you send any mail, chances are high that they might even mark you as a spam, right? But the last batch, it is fresh, so they remember you really well because they recently subscribed. So chances are high that they will engage with you better, right? And in the beginning, you always want high engaging customers. So you send them the email first and see the open rate, see the click through rate, and then you send another 200 email, then you send 500, then 1,000, then 5,000. So slowly, gradually increase it, and always look at the data, right? So let's say you end up sending 5,000 emails over 3 weeks, and let's say 400 or 500 people opened it combined, right? Now that 500 people are the click through rate, that is the clickers data, right? Now tomorrow when you send 5,000 emails on a new base, you will get another 300 click data, right? So combined you have 700 clickers data. Now this is the most important data because these are the people who performed some action on the website, right? So tomorrow you can just send a campaign only on the 700 people. Ideally your click through rate and open rate should be much better because you are sending the email on the most active base that you have, right?
Just a quick info, guys. Test your knowledge of digital marketing by answering this question. What is the full form of CTR? A. Customer Trending Report. B. Check the reports. C. Click through ratio. D. Click through rate. Comment your answer in the comment section below. Subscribe to Intellipaat to know the right answer. Now, let's continue with the session.
So this is again importing the data from CRM. This is again pretty easy. Even if you have a list, you can just import it in Excel file or CSV or something. Or if it's a small list, you can even copy paste also, pretty much. So some of the panels like MailChimp, they will by default give you a lot of generic forms. So if you want to run a sign up offer, they will give you a template. These are predefined templates that will be there within the panel. But if you want personalized ones, the only option is you will also find an option which will say upload, HTML file. Those are the personalized ones, right? If you want to get a creative done yourself, like I said, you need to get the image done, that is the creative done, then you got to get the HTML CSS done for the same creative. So this is the HTML code, guys, by the way. So either you can copy paste it or you can upload it. Yeah, any of that works. And once you send an email, let's say once you create one template, you can always save that template so that you can use the same template again and again, right? So like I said, some of the platforms will provide you by default different templates, which you can just, it's more like a drag and drop and you can update the content yourself. But most of the personalized ones are created by individuals. Now, once you send multiple campaigns, you can see such data, right? Open rate, click rate, right? So let's say if you one day you send multiple campaigns, you can see the data and you can compare and you can take a call with respect to which one is working better, right? This is again the basics, content, the click to, the call to action button. Always ensure that the call to action has a different color, probably a bright color, because in the end that should stand out, right, compared to anything else. So generally people use colors like red, yellow and all, so that it stands out and it's appealing as well. So here you could see, right, this, I mean, this mail will have very less CTR because the CTR is somewhere very, it's somewhere they have put in an extremely, I mean, people won't, this won't be even that visible that easily, right? Ideally, this thing they should have put it on top in bold. These are again, like I said, just try to keep content within 100 words. Otherwise, it looks terrible like this. Nobody reads, such cluttered emails. Segmentation is very important. Like I said earlier, for e-commerce, you know, you have to break the data, right? So somebody who has dropped in at add to cart, you will be sending him a mail with the image of whatever that add to cart was, right? So you will be sending him a dynamic email with personalization, right? Similarly, all the clickers data, you can compile it and you can send him a separate offer. So yeah, email list again, multiple ways. Purchasing again, it's a big no. Please never do this unless you really know the source of it, because there are a lot of scammers out there in the industry who will sell you some random base, and if you send mail on that, then it will screw up your panels. So don't do this. Affiliate agencies also, I mean, no good agency will sell you the data. Referrals, yes. Social channels, yes, you can build it yourself. This is again the industry benchmarks. I think again this varies a lot, guys. I would say don't go by these fancy numbers here. Anywhere if you get 8 to 10%, it's a good open rate in promotional, and then you can slowly try to keep optimizing that as you progress. So yeah, that's pretty much about email marketing.
Just a quick info, guys. If you want to make a career in digital marketing, then Intellipaat provides a advanced certification in digital marketing and analytics. It is taught by IIT professors and industry experts with more than 10 years of experience. This course is designed to upskill and land your dream job.
We have come at the end of the session. Kindly subscribe and hit the bell icon for more updates.